Hey there! Today I want to share something that might really make you stop and think, especially if you're planning your future or thinking about how to spend your golden years. You know, when people get older, a lot of us automatically assume that the best plan is to live close to our children. It just feels natural, right? Family is supposed to be our rock, a place of safety, support, and love. So living near your kids sounds like the perfect way to make sure you're never alone, and help is always just a few steps away. But here's the twist. What if I told you that living close to your children when you get older could actually end up being a big mistake? I know, it sounds strange at first, even a little hard to believe. Why would being near the people who love you the most be a bad thing? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore today, because sometimes what seems like the best decision on the surface can come with hidden challenges. It can affect your independence, your relationships, even your happiness, in ways you might never expect. So let's dive deep and unpack why living close to your children in old age might not always be the dream scenario you imagine. By the end, you'll have a fresh perspective on what really makes for a happy and fulfilling life in your later years. Sound good? Let's get started. Number 1. Loss of independence. Let's kick things off with something that's really important for most seniors: independence. Being able to make your own choices, no matter how small, plays a huge role in how happy and confident you feel as you get older. Whether it's deciding what to eat for breakfast, what time to get up, or how to spend your day, having control over your life matters a lot. But here's where things can get tricky. When you move closer to your kids, or even move into their home, they naturally want to help you. And that's a beautiful thing. It shows love and care. But sometimes that help can slowly turn into them making decisions for you, even when you don't want them to. Maybe they pick out your clothes, decide what you eat, or schedule your doctor's appointments without asking. At first it might feel like a small thing, but over time, it adds up. Let me tell you about Henry. Henry was a proud man who'd always lived on his own terms. When his daughter invited him to live nearby, he happily agreed, thinking it would be great to be close to family. But soon, his daughter started organizing his daily life more than Henry liked. She chose his meals, reminded him constantly what time to take his medicine, and even tried to manage who he could meet or talk to. Henry began to feel like he'd lost control, like he was a child again, not a respected adult. This loss of independence can hit hard emotionally. It affects your confidence and can make you feel frustrated or sad. When your life feels controlled by others, it's hard to enjoy your days, no matter how loving your family is. Number 2. Family tensions and strain. Now, let's look at another side of the story. Family relationships. Living close to your children sounds like a dream, right? More time together, more love, and more support. But in reality, it can sometimes create unexpected tension. Your kids have busy lives, jobs, their own children, social activities, and they're juggling a lot. Meanwhile, parents might feel guilty about asking for help, or worried they're being a burden. This mix can lead to little disagreements that slowly pile up. Take the story of Marie and her son, David. Marie moved into a house down the street from David so they could be close. At first, it was great. Weekend barbecues, helping with the grandkids, and chatting over coffee. But soon, David's busy work schedule made it hard for him to give Marie the attention she hoped for. She started dropping by unannounced, wanting to help with chores or just be part of the daily bustle. David felt stressed and guilty because he wanted to help but also needed time to focus on his family and job. Marie felt like she was bothering him and began to hold back asking for help. Feeling lonely and frustrated, small arguments over privacy, timing, and responsibilities started to surface. Instead of feeling connected, both felt a little distant and stressed. And that's tough when it's your own family. Living close doesn't always mean living harmoniously. Sometimes it brings challenges that need honest conversations and boundaries to keep love and respect strong. Number 3. Differences in lifestyle and habits. Now, let's dive into something that often gets overlooked but can quietly cause a lot of tension. Differences in lifestyle and habits. You see, every generation grows up with its own way of living, doing things, and organizing life. Your children might be juggling hectic schedules, loving a noisy, busy home full of energy. But maybe you, as a senior, crave peace and quiet. You might enjoy calm mornings, a slow pace, and simple routines that help you feel grounded. Take the story of Linda and her parents. When her parents moved nearby, Linda was excited at first. They could share meals, watch movies, and spend time together. But quickly, Linda realized that her parents' idea of a perfect day was very different from hers. They loved a quiet house, a tidy living room, and a calm atmosphere. Meanwhile, Linda's family loved loud music, kids running around, and friends dropping by unannounced. Then there was the food. Linda loved spicy, fast meals, while her parents preferred simple, traditional dishes. Small things like when to eat, how to keep the house, or even what TV shows to watch started to create small annoyances. Over time, these little differences chipped away at the comfort they all hoped to feel. Even though they loved each other, living close made Linda's parents feel out of place. And Linda felt a bit frustrated too. So, what might seem like minor lifestyle differences can actually build up and make living close harder than you'd expect. Number 4. Emotional and financial pressure. Another important piece of this puzzle is emotional and financial pressure, something many families don't talk about enough. When you live close to your children, there's often an unspoken expectation that support will go both ways. Sometimes parents need financial help for medical bills or daily expenses. Other times, children expect their parents to help babysit grandchildren or pitch in with household chores. Let me share the story of Robert and his daughter, Emma. Robert moved near Emma to enjoy his retirement surrounded by family. But over time, Emma started asking Robert to babysit her 2 young kids almost every day. She also hoped he'd help with some of her bills during a tough time. Robert wanted to help. He loved his grandchildren and wanted to support his daughter, but it began to take a toll on his own finances and energy. Meanwhile, Emma felt guilty asking but also worried about juggling everything on her own. This created an emotional pressure cooker. Robert felt stretched thin, and Emma felt overwhelmed and a little resentful. This back and forth can lead to frustration, guilt, and feelings of being trapped for both parents and children. Sometimes living close can blur boundaries, making it hard to say no, which might affect everyone's well-being. Number 5. False sense of safety. Many seniors decide to move close to their children because they believe it will keep them safe. And it makes perfect sense. Having your loved ones nearby during an emergency feels reassuring. If you fall or suddenly get sick, you want someone you trust right there to help you. But here's the catch. Your children aren't superheroes, and they can't watch over you every minute of the day. Life gets busy for them, and they have their own jobs, families, and challenges to handle. So, relying too much on family might mean missing out on other types of support that are specially designed for seniors, like professional caregivers, community health programs, or senior centers. These services aren't just about safety. They're about helping you stay independent and connected to the world around you. Let me tell you about Margaret. She moved in with her son thinking it would be safer and easier for everyone. But her son worked long hours and had young children to care for. He couldn't be with Margaret all the time. One day, Margaret fell in her home, and it was a few hours before anyone found her because no one was there at the moment. After that scary experience, Margaret realized that professional caregivers who check in regularly in community programs might have been a better safety net, one that lets her stay independent but also supported. Number 6. Missing out on your own social life. Here's something a lot of people don't think about enough. Your social life outside of family, friends, neighbors, clubs, and community groups play a huge role in keeping us happy, active, and mentally sharp. When you live close to your children and their family, it's easy to fall into the routine of only seeing them. But what happens when that becomes your whole world? Let me share the story of Tom. Tom moved near his daughter because he wanted to be close to family. But over time, he found that his social life shrank to mostly family dinners and weekend visits. He stopped going to his old book club, stopped seeing his longtime friends, and gradually felt more isolated. Even though he was surrounded by family, Tom felt lonely. Without his own circle of friends and activities, he started to feel disconnected and bored. Having a rich social life beyond family isn't just fun, it's essential for mental health and overall happiness. Number 7. Losing your sense of home. And finally, let's talk about something deeply emotional: the idea of home. For many seniors, their home isn't just a building. It's a place packed with memories, comfort, and a lifetime of stories. Moving to live close to your children often means leaving that behind, and that can be really tough. Take the story of Rose. Rose had lived in her cozy house for over 40 years. It was filled with photos, keepsakes, and familiar corners that made her feel safe. When she moved closer to her daughter, she was excited at first. But soon, Rose realized that the new place didn't feel like her home. It was someone else's space, with different routines and rules. She felt like a guest, not the person in charge of her own life. That feeling of losing your sense of home can be deeply unsettling. Adjusting to a new environment, no matter how loving the family, takes time, and sometimes it never quite feels right. For many, staying in their own home with the right support helps keep that sense of identity and dignity alive. So, there you have it. Why living close to your children in old age might not always be the perfect solution we often imagine. From losing your independence, facing family tensions, dealing with lifestyle differences, to feeling emotional and financial pressures, and even missing out on your own social life or that true sense of home, there's a lot to consider. Now, don't get me wrong, family is incredibly important, and being near loved ones has its wonderful moments. But it's also crucial to think about what you need to feel happy, respected, and fulfilled in this next chapter of your life. The key is balance, finding a way to stay connected and supported without losing your freedom, privacy, or the things that make you feel most like yourself. Sometimes that means building a wider support network beyond family, maintaining your own friendships, and making sure you have the right professional help when you need it. Remember, growing older doesn't mean giving up your voice or your choices. It's about creating a life that feels safe, joyful, and meaningful, on your terms. Thanks so much for listening today. If you or someone you love is thinking about where to live in later years, take time to weigh these important points. And don't hesitate to have open conversations with your family. Honesty and understanding can make all the difference. Take care, and until next time.